Travis Scott just hinted at a new album. This is probably not coming out anytime soon, but he talked about what this album could actually be about. So today, we'll talk about this, we'll take a look at the evidence, and let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and it recaps everything that's been happening in hip hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So Travis Scott only dropped Utopia about half a year ago, so it hasn't been that long since we've gotten that album. In the meantime though, Utopia has become probably one of his most respected albums. It had a lot of hype to live up to, and it definitely delivered. Still listening to it to this day, but you know, I didn't see a lot of people immediately talk about the next album. For a bunch of artists, that's always the case. They drop an album and fans are immediately speculating about what the next one's going to be, how he can go further from this one, what the next step in the evolution or process will be. I didn't see this for Travis. So seemingly Utopia was an album that silenced the doubters or whatever. It was a great album anyways, and we didn't immediately think of a new one. But now it seems like Travis is actually at least confirming the fact that there is an album coming. It's crazy to talk about this only half a year after Utopia, when Utopia took 5 years, so you always got to take that into consideration. So this is not dropping anytime soon, but it's still interesting to take a look at it. So let's take a look at the evidence. So y'all remember in November of last year, during the Circus Maximus tour, Travis posted an Instagram story, and we talked about this back then, of seemingly the backstage area at his Circus Maximus Utopia show, and we can see him being in a DAW, so in a software where he's recording music. We can also see speakers and a Utopia sign, and he captioned this before every show. So even back then, we kind of got the hint, or him saying that he's making music before every show, before he goes out to perform. So we were like, okay, so this means he's making new music. This is not about Utopia or anything like that. A couple of people were talking about a Utopia Deluxe, but I don't think that is happening. Travis was, at least, you know, the past 3 albums, never really a big deluxe guy. I think Rodeo still had a deluxe, but still, you know, we knew that there was going to be new music, which was a positive. By the way, in the meantime, there's kind of like random Travis news, but it connects to the tour. He's announced the second leg of the Utopia, the Circus Maximus tour, which is actually right now, so it's running through February 5th, but this was, you know, not originally planned. This was the second leg. He's now, you know, going over a bunch of cities that he's been to before, but also a couple of smaller ones. I mean, Miami, Chicago still in there, Toronto. So if you still want to get tickets to any one of those shows in the next 2 weeks, you can still do that, but you know, we can say that he's got to finish the tour first before we can realistically talk about a new album. I want to stress that as well. So take all of this with a grain of salt, because the tour is still ongoing. But here's the interesting part, because on his social media, he's been more and more hinting at this process of creating music before every show over the past couple of weeks. For example, only from a couple of days ago, this wasn't just a story, this was just a picture posted to his Twitter, so he wanted this to be permanent, where we can see the same setup of this backstage area with the Utopia LED neon sign, and then also a whole studio setup, so we can see a mic, speakers, the computers, some of the recording devices, even a vinyl player, I believe, to the right there. So, you know, interfaces as well. So he has a whole studio set up backstage, apparently at every show. We can also see on the laptop that there are some vocals recorded, so it seems like he's actively recording music and not just piecing it together, you know, mixing it, whatever. He's actually recording all of this music backstage, which is cool. And then obviously people started talking. People wanted to kind of speculate what this could be about. And here's the actually interesting part that maybe you've seen also on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram yet, make sure to do so with the link in the description. But somebody posted or tweeted about 2 days ago, imagine an album where each song is the city it was made in on the tour. So this was just a speculation from a fan, which would be a cool theme for an album. Since he's touring the entire country, he could have some sort of connection or sound or vibe connected to each city, and then use that in the songs he's creating before every show. But the interesting part is he responded to this and said, "Are you in my brain or what?" I mean, this took about a day or two till he responded, but still, he was aware of this tweet, which was crazy because this was replying to the daily Travis fan page. So it's nice to see that Travis is active on Twitter, apparently also in the fan pages, which is cool. Seems like he's reading the comments to the fan pages. That is interesting. But he said, "Are you in my brain or what?" So this kind of means that is exactly what this guy was talking about, that this new album is gonna be each song connecting to the city it was made in. And he's creating this new album while being on tour, visiting all these different cities. So this is pretty much a confirmation that this is the theme of the new album. Now, as I said, we'll likely not get this album in the next 2 or 3 years. I don't think that is the way that Travis wants to play this. I don't think all of a sudden he wants to switch up his release schedule and just drop like twice a year if this is actually coming out pretty soon. But the fact is that if he's done recording the album while he's still on tour, that would mean that he is done at, the last option, February 5th. So that would be the recording done for the album. And then obviously through mixing, mastering, and getting this out, distributing it, an album usually takes about half a year, even longer than that after it's done recording. It varies so much. There's no one actual time that I can give you. It always depends on various factors. But it could mean that in the next year, or like this year, 2024, we could be getting a new album. Theoretically, just practically from the phases of that an album has to go through, from recording through all of the other ones. If he's done recording by February 5th, the album would likely be finished still this year. As I said, we'll likely not get this. A couple of more Travis news just to kind of sum this up. Obviously, he was on Playboi Carti's Backrooms, which was another one of his appearances. So it seems like he wants to be kind of in the limelight again and be featured in music and videos and stuff like that. Also, only a week ago, he's dropped the Utopia Twins music video for Utopia with Rob 49, 21 Savage. It was also pretty cool. So he's been getting a little bit more active, appearing in other people's videos, dropping his own videos, which I thought was a long time after the release of Utopia, dropping like 7 months later a music video, which I think is cool. I like that. If artists go back and do music videos for music that's already out, but it was kind of like, where did this come from? But still, it seems like he wants to get some music or music videos at least out there, which could be a positive sign that he wants to put music out there. But that's just obviously a reach. As I said, we'll probably not get this anytime soon, but it is a first hint as to what this new album could bring, and I believe it's going to be interesting when we actually get the album and look back on this video or look back on the tweet and see how this was connected to it. But yeah, that's all the news on Travis Scott so far. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think this new album is actually the way that this guy on Twitter described, or do you think there's something else to it and this album won't be coming out anytime soon? All your thoughts on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.